Welcome to Let's Go Outside, a podcast bringing moms together to chat about the raw, unfiltered reality of doing the exploring we love after having kids. No matter your comfort level of adventuring with the little ones, this is a space to have honest conversations about the real struggles of getting out the door with the kiddos. I'm Danica, a mama living in a small mountain town who's totally obsessed with healthy food and taking my kids outside every single day. I professionally guided backpacking trips in the Canadian Rockies, and I'm certified as a Leave No Trace instructor. On the show, you'll hear real experiences from other moms, plus tips on gear, trail snacks, and the best practices in the wilderness. Whether it's hiking, camping, backpacking, skiing, or traveling the world you want to do more of, this is your place to learn, find encouragement, and strip away any comparison. Come embrace both motherhood and the outdoors. Stick around. This is your place. Welcome to the Outdoor Mom Club. Hello, welcome to Let's Go Outside podcast. Today I'm welcoming Maritza Morales to the podcast. We met in a Facebook group for a challenge. Do you remember this?
Yes, I do.
Quite a few years ago from other podcasters. And then we both said we were interested in the outdoors and pursuing that on Instagram with sharing about our family adventures. And then actually last fall we met in person and I got to meet her son. And so I love watching her adventures on the West Coast, the rainforest part of Canada. Her photos are stunning. You need to check them out. So look up the West Coast family. And yeah, welcome here.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah. Tell us about yourself and your fam. And yeah, give us the scoop.
Okay, awesome. So my name is Maritza, and I run our family outdoor account on Instagram at the West Coast Fam. And yeah, so it's our family is Brandon's my husband, and then we have a 5-year-old Liam. So yeah, we are really big into camping and hiking, and that's basically what you'll find on our Instagram page. We really like spending time outdoors and trying to inspire other families to get outside. Yeah, that's basically the main thing about our page. And we live in British Columbia, Canada, but we're actually originally from Ontario. So Fred and I were both born in Ontario, and then we got married, and 2 weeks later decided we would pack our stuff and drive across the country to BC, and then we've been here ever since. So it's been 7 years since we've been here, and yeah, no looking back. So yeah.
I love that. That's so cool. It's a great way to start life together.
Yes, it is. We were a little nervous whether it would work out, but I think we both just wanted the same thing. Yeah, it's been really great. Like we have enjoyed being here.
Okay, so I want to know if you did hiking and camping in Ontario and growing up.
So yeah, that's the interesting thing. So both Fred and I didn't actually grow up like hiking and camping. That's something that we actually got into like in our 20s, I want to say. And when we started dating, I think it became more of a thing we did together. But I think I want to say like I started camping with my family when I was like in my teens already. So yeah, it wasn't anything like I grew up doing or that my parents grew up doing. We just occasionally would go with like family friends. And I think the same thing with Brandon. So it's definitely something that we kind of took on later on in life. And so, yeah, we like love it though. And so when we were dating, we would actually like drive far to go hiking and stuff. Ontario is really nice, but it's quite flat. It's not like BC. And so we were always kind of like seeking like those sceneries, those really nice trails. So then every time we got a chance, we would always like drive 2 hours to go hiking and stuff. So we never did actually, I think, go camping in Ontario, now that I think about it. So yeah, I think it's something we kind of just more picked up later on in life. And then we just, once we moved here, it was kind of like there was like so much to explore and so many places to see that we really just started like getting into it more here. And then now it's something that we both really love and we love doing it with Liam too.
I love that you got into it together because it's kind of like you're on the same page, you have the same systems, you can probably collaborate so well
Yeah,
on your
yeah,
adventures.
yeah.
And Ontario is lake country, though. That's what I am jealous about Ontario for. I am just such a lake girl. And where we live in Alberta, I live walking distance to 5 lakes, which is really incredible.
What?
Yeah, within like, they're all within 5 kilometers of me. However, they're all freezing.
Yes,
And so, I mean, like, I shouldn't complain because they're beautiful. But when I hear
yeah,
about you can go swimming at 7 p.m. at night and it's just the air temperature, I am like, oh,
yes. Ontario is really, yeah. There's like cottage country, and it's like a lot of lakes, and like, yeah, the summers and yes, the lakes are very warm compared to here. Because even here in the summer, same thing. Like we have lakes that are close by, but like I almost never go in the water because it's too cold, even in the summer. So I do miss
so would you say that your go-to thing to do as a family is camping?
Yeah, I would say like in the summer, mainly it's camping. Like we, because summer is like so short, I feel like we try to get out as much as we can. And like we both have like job stuff too, so it's something that we kind of need to like prioritize and squeeze in like the weekends or long weekends and stuff. So it does get like tricky sometimes, but once summer comes, we kind of plan our summer out. That way we can take advantage of it and yeah, and hiking too. But hiking is nice because I feel like in BC it's like the winter is like a lot milder than like most places, and so then we could still get out like in the winter and stuff, and like it's like not as like cold or like we don't get like so much snow and stuff, so it's still manageable. I feel like, but I would say yeah, I think camping is like our main thing, and then hiking as well.
And when
Yeah.
it's camping, would you say it's mostly backpacking trips?
So yeah, I think we've been leaning more towards backpacking trips. It seems like lately we do a bit of both, but I feel like with um park camping, it's like a lot harder to get reservations to start with here. Like in
Mm.
BC, it's crazy because we actually had a camping trip in August, the long weekend of August this year, and it was with my sister and her family, and we had to book it in March. It's like a long, yeah, you have to book it way in advance. And so we just find that like very hard to do because like we don't really know how our summer is going to be to plan that far ahead in advance. So we generally do prefer backpacking because the permits are just easier to get. It's not as crowded, and there's a few really nice places close by. So yeah, I think like backpacking is kind of more, I would say, our style of camping.
I love that. So you did that without Liam, and then do you remember the first trip that you took Liam on?
Yeah. So there's one at Golden Ears Provincial Park. There's like a backpacking trail that's only like 5 kilometers, so it's not super long. And I believe he was probably like a year. He must have been like about a year and a bit. He was born in the summer, so yeah, he must have been like a year when he came around. We took him there, and that I think that was like the first time we took him, and it went really well. We were like definitely nervous because I feel like especially going out in the backcountry, there's like not a lot of people, not a lot of resources, that sort of stuff. So, and obviously having a baby with you can be a little bit nerve-wracking. Yeah, we did that trip, but then we realized that it was a lot of fun. It came with its challenges, but it was it was fun. And then yeah, every year then we've been backpacking with him, and he like loves it. Like he's always asking us when we're gonna go camp. So it's a lot.
And I love your videos of him hiking now. It's so cute.
I know it's crazy like now because we've taken videos of him since he was like a baby, and like just watching the progression of like when we would carry him in the carrier, and then to him like being in and out of the carrier and walking a little bit, to now he just like we do like 5, 7 kilometer trips, and he's like walking no problem. Yeah.
Scrambling on the rocks. Yeah.
Yep.
Running. The
Yeah.
progression. I love watching our children grow.
Yeah,
It's so
it's
cool.
really cool.
So you live in a pretty rainy place, would you say?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. So is it raining a lot these days and throughout the winter for you?
Yeah, so we haven't gotten any snow, which I feel like the last couple of years, I want to say by like October 31st, we had like the first snowfall, but then this year we still haven't. But the snow line is going further, it's getting closer. So it is getting cooler up there in the mountains. But we've been getting a lot of rain lately, actually. It's been, yeah, it's been very wet.
Yeah. We have a ton of snow here. It's
Yeah,
insane. It's insane how much we got, but it was kind of the best way to get it. It was, a little bit of rain, a little bit of like a few little snowfalls, but still we had green or brown grass. And then suddenly it was like windstorm for 3 days straight. And then we have like a foot and a half of snow or 2 feet in some places. And it's kind of magical. Like we're waking up
yeah,
every day and the trees are just caked. And honestly, it doesn't feel like there's been a lot of falls like this that transition just like that. And so I feel like
yeah,
so stoked this year.
yeah. And you guys get it quite early, I feel like. Snow and
Yeah,
like with,
this seems late for us. I feel like we usually get
yeah.
it the same as you, like
Okay, so
October 30th. And then sometimes we'll get like a freak snowstorm in the last week of September.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the snow's nice. I feel like now that Liam is around, he's just like he wants snow all the time now.
Mm.
He's like excited for the snow and stuff. I feel like growing up, I think I was the same now. As I got older, I'm like, no, I'm not like so interested in it. And maybe it's because of like Ontario and just having to like drive in it, having to like shovel and clean. It's like just like yeah, I just remember getting to work, sitting in traffic in the snow and stuff. But I think it's really nice. So now like with Liam, he just sees it like so magical. And I feel like it is quite magical, especially during Christmas. It is just really
Hmm.
nice. Yeah.
Has Liam tried skiing?
Not yet. Actually, that's something that we are like wanting to maybe try this year.
Hmm.
Because I also didn't grow up doing any like winter sports, but I feel like just being here would be like a nice thing to do. And I think Brandon has done like snowboarding before, so he could probably like manage it a little bit. But yeah, I think like I would love Liam to learn it like now that he's little, and that way he can kind of like pick it up, and then I
Yeah,
would learn it. Yeah.
so fun. It's good. It's so fun to learn new sports with our kids. Yeah. So I know though it is quite humid where you are, and I feel like that makes it a lot colder.
Yeah.
I don't know if you'd agree, but when I've been in humid places and it gets cold, you were like, this is to the bone.
Yeah, yeah.
Would you share how you do layering and how you keep warm in the winter and the rain?
Yeah. So, it's something that we have had to master quite a bit because since he started preschool, he did like an outdoor school. So then we had to learn how to like bundle him up very well. And we also had to try out a lot of gear and see like what works for us. And I think every child is different too. So it's like something can work for us, but then it might not work for another child. Like every child's so specific. But um, yes, I feel like layering is like key when it comes, even in the winter time. And it's something like we learned with him. And so generally our layering system would consist of having like a base layer first, which normally we tend to choose like a merino wool, just because then like moisture sticks too much and it's just more breathable. That's kind of generally what we like would buy for him. And then we would have like a mid layer, which would be like a fleece sweater. And then if it's like really cold outside, then we put like a puffer over that. But if it's like just raining and it's maybe like no less than 5 degrees, it's kind of where like I gauge it, then we'll just put on his outer layer, which would be his like rain jacket. And that's kind of generally like how we layer him up. And even when he did preschool, and even when it was snowing outside, we learned that like even like a lot of like the snow jackets were kind of bulky, and when they get wet, they get like super heavy. So
Hmm.
then we realized that it was actually better for us to just layer him the same way we would during like a very rainy day. We would just layer him a little bit more, and that worked. Yeah.
So on a winter day, you're saying you would even use a rain jacket on top of the fleece layer and maybe just do two fleece layers or something like that. Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
so when we would send him to preschool, and a lot of his teachers would tell us like, oh, 'cause I think we did send him one time. That was like, let's just put like a winter jacket on, and they tend to be a little bit bulky. But then she was realizing that like because they like to like play in the snow and they get wet super easy, like they just like end up getting very like soaked, and then they get heavier, and it's hard for them to move. So then, yeah, that's what we've kind of done with him the last couple of years. Is we actually just layer him like his merino wool, a fleece, his puffer, and then his rain jacket. And usually that has held up pretty well in the winter.
Okay. And does he
Yeah,
wear mitts to school?
he does. Yeah. So we'll usually do like the mitts, and like they kind of cinch at the wrist. Like we found those ones to be really great because oftentimes the ones that come right at the wrist, like he gets like really frustrated if he gets like snow or something right there. We found that when they cinch like at the wrist and they come up higher, it holds better. And then yeah, we've been using those ever since.
Jen and Jewel has awesome ones where they have one at the
Yeah,
wrist and then one higher up. I like those ones.
yeah. So I feel like Jen and Jewel has really great ones. We've gotten ours from MEC from them. They have really great ones too, and like I've gotten them on sale oftentimes.
When Koa was at forest school more last year, he would have to come home because his hands were so cold, and we were
Oh,
really
really?
struggling with that. It was freezing here though, like it was like -10
Yeah,
Celsius, and but I found like I would have to do like two layers of mitts because I feel like it created that air pocket between the two layers of mitts. And
right.
then like the hot packs on their hands. But it's so hard when it's so cold. Like the
Yeah,
best way is kind of just like distraction at some point, or just
I
you have
know.
to go in and warm up.
Yeah, or just like changing too. So like now for school, I'll have to pack them like extra layers of everything. We'll
Mm,
go to school with a pair, and then I'll put him another pair in there. I also put him some like little mittens, like the dollar store ones. Honestly, like I get a pair of those ones, and those ones, if it's like not like super rainy where they'll get soaked really fast, he'll wear those sometimes first, and then I'll pack him extra ones. But we have like a bunch of spare because of that, and then generally he'll be changing them out throughout the day, and that has helped a lot. Or putting like the little gloves from the dollar store and then putting the mitts on top. But yeah, it is tricky because yeah, you guys definitely get a lot more cold weather than we do. So
it's
yeah,
and then they want to play, and it's hard in those bulky mitts. It's different than if you were like, skiing or snowboarding, I feel like. But
yeah,
the switching out is so key. Like I think that's a brilliant point. Like just sending
yeah,
them with a couple pairs of mitts or packing along a couple pairs of mitts that are maybe even lighter,
yeah.
and then having something warm
Hmm.
afterwards. You want to share some brands or pieces of clothing that have really helped you guys in the cold and wet days?
Yeah, so I would say for Liam, the brand that we like stand by, we've used it the last like 4 years, is the Helly Hansen. I don't know if you used any of their like rain suits?
No, actually, you mentioned it to me when I was in the Lower Mainland last year, and I found
Yeah.
them at the thrift store in Squamish at like the day after I saw you, and I got them, and
Nice.
we have loved them. And Koa's actually been wearing them like exactly how you're saying now. He'll wear like his base layer, his fleece pants, and then them right now as we're just like hovering around
Yeah.
0 right now, and that's like really perfect because they're so waterproof.
They are so we've tried a lot of rain jackets from different brands, and I think that one has held up so well. I
Mm.
think it's the material that they make it, because it's that like rubbery material. It like it could rain and it won't see through, which I love. So that's kind of the suit. So we ended up getting him a new suit this season. he was growing out of his other one that he had. But I find that like the Helly Hansen one has been really, really great. Like every time I talk to someone, they're like, "Do you have a recommendation on like a rain jacket or pants?" I'm like, "Yes, the Helly Hansen one, 100%." Like it's very waterproof because a lot of the other ones that we've had, eventually if it's like pouring out and he's like out there for hours, it'll eventually like go through. And we still do like send him with a couple of like rain jackets to school now. But I find that the Helly Hansen one, he doesn't really have to switch out that much. So that's been really great. Yeah, I feel
I
like
love that. I love that you were like, send them out for a couple hours because it's like
yeah,
that's what we're talking about here. Like we want tested gear that lasts our kids the whole day that we are
yeah,
outside in the rain.
yeah, yeah. And then I can't. There's like a he has these rain boots as well. I remember the brand now that I think of it, but they're great. They have kind of like fleece lined. Is it Kamek? Have you like ever heard of that brand?
I don't think so. I feel like you are really up on the brands and like you have tried so
You
many.
know
So
what? Yeah, we so I can't remember the one he first started preschool with, and those ones are really great. What I honestly looked for is that it had some sort of fleece lining in it. That way, it like would serve him as well for the winter time. Because that was something else that we also discovered when he was in preschool. I would always put his rain boots on versus his snow boots on because his snow boots, he always came like soaked for some reason, like his socks were soaked. And because I feel like with like there's some, at least the ones we had the snow boots, they have like the opening at the sides, like they kind of velcro across almost. So there's like some space. So anyways, the ones that we had tried, he was just like super cold with them. Like they weren't. I think he loves to like roll around and get like in puddles so much. So we really had to like see like what was working. So these boots that we got, they're like a rain boot, but they're fleece lined inside, and so those ones are the ones that we used for him during the winter as well. We just like paired it with like a good wool sock.
I think I know what you're talking about. Is it Chemex with a K?
Yes, Kamek. Yes.
Yes. Okay. They sell them at Mech.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. I think I got his off of Amazon, but I know they sell them at a few different stores. Those are the ones that he's used the last couple of years as well, and have worked, yeah, really great. So that's another recommendation for rain boots.
I love that.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's actually what Koa had last year too. And I say the same thing. Like they're just kind of seamless because snow boots are so clunky and the kids just have
they
to carry
are.
them around so much. But then finding a rain boot, exactly what you're saying, that's not just rubber, but that has a lining, especially a wool one. Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then like I'm trying to think of like base layers. There's a few companies that we've like tried. We've also tried the Helly Hansen base layers that they have. And those ones have been really great. And Simply Merino. I don't know if you've heard. I think they're like a Vancouver-based like local shop. They also make like merino wool base layers. So we've tried theirs. They're really great as well. And then I think the one item I think that I really don't have much of a preference is like the fleece sweaters. I feel like we have fleece sweaters from like a lot of different stores, and they're generally the same. Like I wouldn't say there's anything specifically different. Yeah, so I think like we have some from like Matt. HM has like a bunch. Decathlon has some. Yeah, we have a couple from different places, and they all work great. There's not a brand that stands out to me. I would say when it comes to like a fleece sweater. Yeah.
Sort of, this is not winter gear, but what
Hmm.
about hiking shoes for Liam? We right now I've just been using random tennis shoes, but I feel like we're getting to the point where Koa could use more grip on his shoe or just maybe more ankle support. And I'm just curious if you have any thoughts on that.
Yes. So when he was like smaller, he had these like teen shoes, and they were pretty great. Like I know a lot of people wear them. We wore those. Like he wore those for I feel like a year or two, and then we moved towards like more of like a hiking boot with like an ankle support like that. He kind of liked those a little bit more, and so I had one from I think his were like Merrell, and then and then the ones he's currently wearing we've gotten from yeah. Have you like do you guys have a Decathlon where you are?
No, but probably in Calgary we would, and that's like the big city. But I live in a town with like 5,000 people, so it's so
Yeah,
small.
so
And
small.
so
Yeah,
so when we go to to trips to the city, because Daniel has a discount at Mac, we always just go to Mac.
nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, that's nice though. Mac has a lot of like really great.
yeah, yeah. So many things. And honestly, a lot of my kids' stuff is used. Like, I just go to the thrift store so much, or the used gear
Same.
stores, right? Like, it's just
Yeah.
so fun. It's
I
like you find so
honestly
many
don't
gems.
think I have. Yes, I like don't think we own a lot of like brand new things. I think the Helly Hansen suits are the only thing that we have bought brand new. But then
Mm,
everything else, like rain pants, like just fleece sweaters, puffers, all that kind of stuff is just, yeah, we always get it like Facebook Marketplace or the thrift store. Yeah, it's great. Like I feel like kids grow too fast that they just kind of like move out of like sizes quickly. So it's just better to get it second.
totally. And I feel like living in the city has the advantage of the marketplace situation.
Yes.
I do have some amazing relatives that will go across the city and get something for me and then save it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But usually I go to Once Upon a Child a lot, and I keep finding amazing North Face puffer jackets there for my kids.
Nice.
And everyone's like, "Where did
Yeah.
you get this?" And they think I bought it brand new, and I'm like, "No, I don't really buy anything brand new
Yeah.
or
Yeah, no,
like on sale."
it's true, yeah. I think like one time I found this like Patagonia like fleece sweater for Liam. Everyone's like, wow, like you got him. I was like, it was probably like $10. Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Yeah, there's so many ways to be creative with it. And that's the other thing that you were saying, like even with fleeces, like there's ways that we can be creative in saving money on like, okay, this you just kind of need like a more bulky layer that's
Hmm.
polyester, and that's okay. And I think if I was gonna look at it, I don't know if you would agree, but I would probably, if I had a bit more money to spend, I would probably look for a merino base layer if I was doing like a big day. And
Hmm.
if I didn't have the money, I think a polyester base layer would still be fine.
Yes.
And then a Gore-Tex, I feel like rain layer
Hmm.
would be like, those are what I would like want to spend my money on.
Yes, I agree. Yeah. I feel like you just kind of have to make it work with what you have because obviously these items can get pricey. Like if, especially if you're buying them brand new. So I feel like there are options around it as well. Yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm. And you don't want it to stop you from going outside.
Yes. Yes.
Like just try. And I think that's the thing about going outside. Like we just have to keep trying it a couple different times because to get the gear right takes time. Like you said, like in the beginning, it has taken you a while to figure out that you love the Helly Hansen. And I think that's kind of key, just talking to people and hearing like what layer they love or what
Mhm.
brand they love and just trying those out and um, following that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Are you looking for the perfect winter boots that keep little toes cozy without weighing them down? I have been loving Jan and Jul boots the last couple of years for my boys. They are fleece lined, totally waterproof, insulated, and they can put these boots on by themselves. Jan and Jul has an awesome selection of outdoor clothing, jackets, especially for rain or for winter, footwear, mittens. I love their sun hats. I especially love their extra small mittens. Don't have a thumb hold for my little guy. Let's Go Outside listeners get 10% off by using the code LGO10. I'm leaving the affiliate link in the show notes. If you click that link, I will get a small percentage of whatever you purchase with no extra charge to you. So check out this Canadian company. I've been loving it, and I think you will too.
Would you share with us tips that you have
for encouraging kids to stay motivated and positive when the weather turns bad and maybe you're hiking and the trail is longer than you thought or harder than you thought or more
I feel
uphill?
like, yeah, we've gone through a lot of those. I would say so. One thing that kind of keeps Liam going is we'll play a lot of games. I feel like games are kind of what keeps him going. And so we'll play games like I Spy. We'll play games like we'll like guess the animal. He'll like describe, I have to guess what animal he's describing. We'll do like a scavenger hunt. He loves looking for mushrooms, so we'll look for different mushrooms. And yeah, essentially things that would just take his mind off the fact that like it is long. Maybe the trail is like a little rougher than we thought. And I feel like especially now that he's walking himself, like we don't have to carry him anymore, we're finding that we do have to find ways to get creative to keep him motivated. And, we'll bring along snacks and we'll take breaks. Like I feel like that's huge. Like it's okay to slow down, it's okay to stop. And that was kind of difficult for me to understand at first. Like I just want to like move at my pace and get going. And yeah, I feel like with kids, it's like, no, you have to go a bit slower and, you kind of have to adapt with how things are going. I feel like those are the main things that kind of have helped us. Like we bring some snacks and we'll sit down and we'll just take it easy and we'll also count like trail markers. Like, he loves doing that. And then before we know it, we're like there because he's just like looking for the next one, and then eventually we get there. So I feel like that's what kind of motivates him. Like he loves playing like games and stuff like that. So we are probably huge on doing those things on the trail.
I love that. I love the describe the animal game. That sounds
Hmm.
like a really good idea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you guys still take the trail magic with you?
You know what? I think yeah. So our last like backpacking trip that we took was probably September. We still took it just in case. Like we were like, it's good to just have in case that we need to just pop him in and just like move faster. But it's just more in case we really need it. Like we haven't honestly used it in a while, but we still did take it the last time. I think next year he'll be almost 6, so maybe not. He is getting heavier, right? So, yeah, we did the last trip we did take it, but I don't know if we'll be taking it after this season. Yeah, it's crazy.
Totally. And just to back up, if anyone doesn't know what trail magic is, it is a square piece of fabric that attaches to your big external backpack that you can carry your child on the front. Did that make
Yeah,
sense
you
how I
guys have
explained
one
that?
too, right?
We do.
Yeah, yeah. We started using it, I think, when Liam was like 2 years old, or like a year and a half. And we just found that we liked it a lot because it was very small. It was easy to just store away, um, and it's just an option that we could just again pop in. And it is nice that you kind of clip it to your back. It's like served us like quite a bit, so it's been great. I feel like it's a great option if like you're into backpacking and you kind of don't want that extra weight, a different type of carrier.
Yeah, and I think it's perfect for this 3, 4, 5 age where they still fit in it and they don't always want to hike the whole time. Right now, I'm in a stage where my oldest wants to be the youngest still, and so he just wants to be carried because his younger brother's being carried, and so I think it's kind of good for that stage when I'm like, okay, I'm pushing you as far as you can, but now, okay, you can have a little break too.
Yeah.
But then I end up carrying both of them, and I'm like, this is not how it's meant to be, I'm like, I should just not bring it so that it's not even an option for
Yeah.
him. And that for myself, I know mentally, like, okay, I'm not gonna give in to him. Like I'm gonna be like, you have to hike this whole hike. Like you're 4
Yeah,
now.
it's tricky. Yeah, I think it definitely comes with lots of challenges, but it's worth it.
Yeah, totally. Would you share a story with us where maybe a trip or a hike didn't go as planned and how you had to adapt the situation or change your goals uh, to really make it work, or maybe it didn't work out, but how now you look back and you're like, that was just exactly how it was supposed to be. And um, I'm so thankful.
So there's like two stories that come to mind, but I want to say that so we went to Joffre Lakes. Have you been there up in Pemberton?
No, no.
Okay. So it's like beautiful. There's like three lakes. You hike all the way to the third one, and you can camp overnight. Beautiful. Honestly, we recommend. We did it when Liam was like 2, and we actually used the trail. We hadn't done the trail before, like we hadn't done the hike at all. So it was everything was new to us. We were like I was very excited and very eager to go. But not even like 10 minutes into the hike, Liam just starts screaming, crying. It was just like, and everyone on the trails just like stopped and like you see us and we're just like look like crazy people with these huge packs on and this baby in our like carrier and he's just like crying and screaming. And I was like, I don't know how we're gonna make it honestly. Like he just doesn't want to be in the carrier. Like we just didn't know what was going on. Like he was just crying so much that I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, are we gonna have to turn around? Like, is this not gonna happen? And then Brandon's I think a lot better with like just being very calm. Like, no, it's fine. Like let's just take a break. So we did have to take like lots of breaks, which did help. But then it made our like I think we like took almost like 5 hours to get to the campsite, which was a long time carrying the pack. And the trail I think was only like 5 or 6 hours. The
Okay.
whole trail. However, it is very, very inclined the whole way, which we hadn't done it, so we didn't realize. It is a beautiful hike though, but you're also carrying so much weight. And I think that alone adds a lot to it. That was kind of like the start of our hike, and it's kind of horrifying because
Uh,
people just were like, is he okay? Like they kept trying to offer, and it was just very like stressful because I was like, I just don't want to like make it all the way up there, and this is just how it's gonna be. And then yeah. So anyway, we made it halfway through. He finally kind of calmed down. We would take him out. He would walk, and he was fine. We made it to the second lake, and then the hike to the second to third lake isn't very far. So we were like, okay, we're almost there. One thing I didn't take into consideration when I was kind of mapping everything out and looking into it is that for some reason I thought that the campsite was like right when you get to the third lake, like it's somewhere like close by. No, it's not. So we get to the third lake and there's lots of like boulders and it's such a busy hike as well. So
okay.
we get there and we're like looking, we're like, and there were really no signs or anything. So we're just kind of like just circling around that area. And then finally, I think like somebody, they're like asked us, are you guys looking for the campground? We're like, yeah. And someone's like, oh yeah, so you have to take like this trail behind like the washrooms and it goes, or so you have to still walk around the lake to the other side.
No.
And at this point, I was like so tired. I was also mentally tired, having to deal with like, crying and screaming and having to be so patient and also like the weight and stuff. And I was like, my gosh, I was like, why did we do this? We started walking, and then the trail becomes like a lot more intense too, because then you're kind of hiking over boulders. You're kind of like going over them. And by the end of it, I was like, I was in tears. And I was like, I don't know if I'm going to do this anymore. And then I was like, the thought of having to go back down tomorrow, like, oh man, I was just like, anyways, needless to say, we made it. It was great, beautiful. But like next time, yeah, I mean, I think it was like for sure our fault that we didn't like realize that the campground was like I think it was like a full kilometer and a half more from the like
Wow.
around the lake. So it was a lot. And so anyway, at the end it all worked out. We had fun and we still look back at those pictures and we're like it was beautiful. But yeah, the beginning and getting there wasn't like the greatest, but I feel like we would do it again. Like at first I was like, I'm not going back there for a while. But now that Liam is like older too, I feel like he could probably walk a lot of it. Well, hopefully most of it. But I would probably bring the trail magic actually just in case. Because he's hiking now on his own as well, he likes to just oh, I can't go. And so then that's when you have to really like motivate him to keep going. But so it's a different type of slow.
Totally. And it's so hard on those trails where they're busy and you know you're in nature and you want people to experience it. And you're trying to like hold your kid back from like screaming, crying at the same time. You're like, this is exactly where he should be screaming and crying.
Yeah,
It's emotionally exhausting for us as
it is.
parents.
Yeah, it is very stressful. Like I was like, when we got back or when we got to the campground, I was like, I threw my pack and I was like, I just need a second to sit down and just mentally recover from that because yeah, I was like, that was a lot. Our way down was not bad. So at least like maybe it's because we kind of knew like how the trail was gonna be and we were just going down. So it's definitely a lot easier than going up. So it was a good ending.
I feel like we're so hard on ourselves as moms, right?
Yeah.
And planning the trip and wanting it to be beautiful and knowing it's going to be beautiful, but then
Yeah.
having that disconnect of our kids, like, you have these needs that this is very new for me to handle
Mhm.
also.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
just learning how to be like, okay, it's gonna be a hard day,
Fine. Yeah.
just accepting
Fine.
that. Yeah, it's gonna take me a couple hours to be okay with this, but we'll get
Yeah.
there.
It'll be okay.
That's a cool story. Did you want to share your other story?
Okay, my other story, I'll do it really fast. So it was actually the one we did. That one
Okay.
wasn't really like it wasn't anything like challenging with like a child. It was more like that we wanted to do a last backpacking trip, but the weather was kind of on and off. It was gonna rain, it wasn't gonna rain. And then I told Brian, I was like, well, you know what, like, let's just do it. Like, how bad can it be? I'm like, we've camped in the rain before. It's fine. We'll be fine. One of my other friends that lives out of Vancouver, she had been wanting to come camping with us, so she like messaged me. She's like, "Are you guys gonna go?" And I was like, "Yeah, actually." So she like tagged along. So we went out to Chilliwack, and we had such a great day. Like we hiked there. Liam hiked the whole thing. It was just so beautiful. Blue sky, like it was great. Like we got like such a good spot to like right up in the lake, and everything was great. And then nighttime rolls around, and I actually still hung out. Liam went to bed with Bren, and I still hung out with my friend. We were just like just hanging out, talking, and we're like, wow, it's actually clear skies. Like, and we're so glad we made it. Like, we imagine we didn't come, like we would have missed out. Anyways, we're like, okay, we should just probably go to bed. Go to bed. I wake up like an hour later. It felt like a tornado was like going past us. The craziest thing. And there's lots of things this trip taught me after that. But in the moment, like I remember waking up and I just started hearing the rain. I was like, okay, it's raining. I guess it was gonna rain. But then lightning started striking close to us. Thunder rolled in, and it was just like the scariest like situation I think I've been out in the backcountry. The funny part is that Liam slept through the entire thing. Like even Brandon was like beside me, and I was like, "What do we do? Like, what if this tent floods? What if we're like stuck in the middle of like this like crazy storm?" I was like panicked. Like I left that trip, and I remember going home, and every sudden like noise I would hear, I was like be jumping out of fear because just like it was, yeah, it was insane. There were like a
Wow.
couple people that were also camping around us, and some guy, I think he camped like on the other side of the lake, and his tent got flooded. Like during the storm, like I think his friends were also on our side, and they were like trying to help him. He was like crossing the lake. I was like, oh my gosh, like crazy. Like it was insane. But yeah, I don't know. I think like I posted some. I don't know if you saw. I posted some like videos on Instagram of that trip, and my friend could like, she was like behind us in her tent, and you could just see like the whole lake like light up like day. It was very, very. So
Wow.
I was like, next
That's
time,
insane.
yeah, I'm like next time maybe we'll listen to the weather.
You
Like,
don't always know.
yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, I was wondering. I was like, yeah, kind of like in the mountains of that country, you have no idea. Like it could be like sunny, and then all of a sudden storm rolls, and you have no idea. Anyways, It was fun. Liam woke up the next morning like nothing happened. He's just like there, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I am so glad you did not experience uh, that because that would have been very traumatizing for you.
Yeah, those storms are scary.
They are very scary.
I did a mom's trip that I organized a couple of years ago, and I slept in the tent alone with just Co at the time, and I was pregnant. And it was the windiest night that I've ever slept outside. And I thought a
Yeah.
tree was going to fall on us, and I was terrified. I wanted to we were just car camping. So I wanted to go to, not just car camping, but like I meant we have the car there
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
versus being out in the wilderness and like no shelter. But I was
Not
too
yes.
scared to even go to the van. I was
Yeah.
so scared. I was just like frozen there. It's
Yeah.
scary.
It is
Those
scary, and
the
that's the
wind.
thing too. Like you don't really know. Like you have to be prepared, but also like it's hard because I was so panicked. I was so afraid. I was like, are we gonna have to hike out in this? Like, are we gonna have to call the search and rescue to come get us? Like it was really bad. I was like, I don't know what's gonna happen. Like I was like, and also the trees were also making me a little bit anxious. I was like, what if a tree falls on us?
Hmm.
Oh my gosh. I was like, and it was funny because we were hiking down the next morning, and people were coming up, and they're like, oh my gosh, you guys were camping during that storm? And I was like, did you guys have it like in the city? They're like, yes, it was like insane. It was so scary. There was like lightning everywhere. I was like, yes, we did. We were camping. And they're like, you had a child with you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, and the child always adds the cherry on the top when they see the child. I love it. Oh, thank you for sharing
Yeah.
those stories.
Yeah.
Now we're laughing about it. And then we're like,
Yep.
let's go do it again.
Yeah.
Except hopefully pray there's no wind
I know.
and rain and lightning. As we wrap up, now I have a couple funny questions that I ask everyone that comes on the podcast. And so I want to know your encouragement to other moms to get outside and explore more.
So I would say, and this is kind of what I always say to any like friends or anybody that asks me that wants to start getting outside or hiking or camping, I would say start small. Like I think, just as simple as like going for a walk outside, going out to your local trail, even just spending time, honestly, like outside if you have like a yard, getting outside, I feel like it's just enough. I feel like I've been thinking about this often, and I find that with Instagram sometimes when you see a lot of different like outdoor families and all these other accounts and just seeing like all the things that they're doing and they're doing such big hikes or big things stuff can often be like very like intimidating to want to even do anything. You're like, I don't, I can't do that and stuff. But honestly, like I find that just getting outside, going for a walk, going to a park, just spending time outside is enough. You don't have to go on any like crazy adventures to really be like an outdoor family. Like I feel like as long as you enjoy being outside and you head outside, I think it's enough. So that would be my encouragement to anyone out there.
Totally. And it's really beautiful to see what it grows into, right? Like those
Hmm.
little adventures. And it might feel like it's not very much maybe on your porch or in your backyard, but I would totally
Hmm.
agree with you. Like it's just
Yeah.
you're still an outdoorsy family. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Awesome. And do you want to share a favorite trip or a favorite place you've been on with your family?
Okay, so I definitely will have to say that Iceland. We went to Iceland this year.
I was
Was
going to guess that.
probably my favorite trip we've done so far. It was incredible. Yeah, like it was I actually didn't even like I didn't spend a lot of time on my phone and didn't even I did get videos and stuff and I took pictures, but honestly it was more for me. And I think at the time like I was also just kind of wanted to just enjoy the trip, not like make it so much of yeah, content and show other people. I was like, I just want to really like soak in this trip, and I did, and it was the best. We rented a camper van, and we just kind of went along the south of Iceland, camped along the bay, and it was. I recommend it to anybody that wants to do. I was
Hmm.
like, yeah, do it. Iceland is beautiful. So that's been probably our favorite trip.
I love that you shared that you brought a lot of your own food.
Yes, yeah, we it is a place where it's quite expensive. And so going into that, we knew that we had to figure out, like, okay, like, how can we save a little bit here and there? I found that doing the camper van, we saved a little bit more than if we had stayed at like Airbnbs or hotels. And the nice thing is that you can just like and do everything in the van and then just like drive. That was nice. And then yeah, we were like, we're just gonna take this as if we're going camping and we're gonna bring a lot of the camping foods that we would normally bring. And yeah, we managed. It's great.
I love that. It's just cutting in other areas so that you can actually make it happen, right? I think
Yeah.
that's so good. Instead of like saving for the perfect moment, it's like,
Hmm.
no, it's not, it's gonna be like this, and that's just so special too. And
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Marissa, for sharing with us, for being here. I love chatting with you. Would you please share how the listeners can follow along, connect, see your beautiful photos? Share all of that with us.
Yeah, so my Instagram handle is at the West Ham, and yeah, you can follow along on our adventures and see everything we're up to on there.
I love it. Okay, thank you so much. We will talk to you later. Thank you so much for listening today. Honestly, every single person here listening is a part of this outdoor mom community, and you're one of them. So thanks for being here. If you have not joined our Facebook group yet, please come join us. Go to Facebook and search up Let's Go Outside Podcast, and you'll find it. And lastly, well, I guess two more things. All the things that we mentioned in today's show are going to be in the show notes. The trips, the gear, and the specific gear things that we liked. And then lastly, if you have a second to love on this show, as it's still so new and I'm pumped about it, and I hope you are too, if you would please leave a review, that would mean the world to me as it gets out into the world. Okay, have a beautiful day. I hope it's sunny where you are, and until next time.